Are we gonna press the button or?
I'm going to press the button.
Okay.
Ready?
Just checking, just want to make sure. We're getting,
Yes,
yeah, I
yes,
think
sir.
we're ready now.
Is Bailey not here tonight?
I just wasn't sure if the light was on or, I'm trying to get used to Bailey not being here.
Yep,
It should be going.
we're a sad
Okay.
crew tonight.
We are, Motley crew.
Yep.
All right. So if everybody's here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Planning Commission meeting tonight. We're going to start with a word of prayer. And then if you'd please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity for us to be here together as co-citizens in this great county, to be able to just look at administrative things and serve each other as co-citizens. So grateful for that. We ask you to guide our thoughts and be with us tonight as we talk about the things of the business of the county. We ask these things in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, questions on the agenda? If not, we'll take a motion to approve as is.
So moved.
I'll second it.
And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any conflicts of interest from any members of the Planning Commission for anything on the agenda for tonight?
No conflict of interest, but I want to go on record with item number 7. I'm a member, shareholder of Peterson Pipeline. And then on number 10, with Wasatch Peaks, we've had discussions with our water rights and storm runoff with Wasatch Peaks.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to go into a time of public comment. So we have no public hearings scheduled for tonight. So what that means for the public is this is the time, if anybody wants to comment on anything other than if you're the applicant on any of the items on our agenda tonight, now's your time to come up and comment on that. There won't be a time when we open up that agenda item to talk about it. We just kind of do it all in the beginning. So please come forward and just, there is a microphone up here if you guys do have any comments. Just tell us what your name is and where you live, for the record.
So there's no opportunities later on to ask questions then?
No, only for public hearings. So when there's public hearings, then it opens up specifically for that. That's why we offer this time as well.
All right, so my name is Bill Fawcett, I live in the Trappers Point area. There's several questions related to I think it's item number 9 on the agenda. First observation of the plat, if you like, is the boundaries too close to the homes in Trappers Point. The second one is setbacks for the rear of the property should be considered to move the homes forward to the road that's built in there. Maybe consider having a trail between the two divisions. Maybe consider as part of this approach to have a trail to the Sinclair garage. I know it may be a stretch, but it's a thought. Noise levels for the homes back into Trappers Loop could be a big concern. It is very noisy living on that side of the road. Safety of the road due to the hill, as you've got an approaching hill if you're coming up Trappers Loop north, around, and you've got that road. That's going to be a concern for that exit there. This is a broader one, but are there plans to divert Trappers Loop Road and make that a safer road? And maybe take it out onto the field that's been possibly not available for building, the east of us. It is a dangerous road. What safety precautions for the homes adjacent east of Trappers Loop are going to be put in? Obviously, I'm talking about the new subdivision. I think everybody who currently has small kids or pets or whatever, they've got appropriate fencing in place. Will the new subdivision be part of Trappers Point HOA? I don't know if that's part of this committee or discussion. Will homes be restricted to single-level homes to prevent obscuring the view, particularly on the road?
Sorry, just a quick question. You don't happen to have a copy of that written down for us, do you?
Yeah.
It might be helpful. That's all good points. And what we try and do is we give the public an opportunity to comment,
Yeah.
and then we try and answer those questions during our discussion. And I'm writing slower than you're.
I'll do this after.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Will speed restrictions like speed bumps be planned in the roads in the subdivision? Will Trappers Point have speed restrictions because of the increased traffic going in of that area? Roads do seem to indicate an expansion. I don't know if that's planned for that division. Will any services to Trappers Point be affected in this construction and after construction? And then one observation that folks have made is after heavy rain, the field is usually very flooded where the current subdivision is planned. How do you plan to do the drainage to ensure that homes that currently exist in Trappers Point are not affected, and of course the new homes are not affected? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's very helpful. I appreciate that. We can get it back to you as well.
Read my scratches.
No. Excellent. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kelly Roundy, I'm from Trappers Point.
Hi.
I didn't plan on speaking until I saw this map. There's homes in the wetlands area. There's wetlands that comes from the top of Trappers Loop, and there's cattails that grow there every year. It goes down and goes underneath Trappers Loop onto the other side of the street, and there's a creek. So, and then there's also, you have this. There's also a big black spot right there, and there's some over here. Those are wet year-round with water that goes into that system. Army Corps of Engineers said that they would look at it for sanitary preserve. But anyway, I'm very concerned about that there's homes in those wet spots.
Okay.
And they get very wet when it rains.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Anyone else comment?
I'm Paula Miller. I don't have a comment on the subdivision. I just got a question on the future land map for Mount Green. When is that going to be complete, and do we have any input in that?
Yes, so we're going to have a discussion, item number 11. If you can, stay around. It's the area plan update, and that'll be the time we're going to have a lot of kind of two-way dialogue about that.
Okay, because they had the lady here this past summer, that we
Yeah.
haven't talked to.
We have a lot to talk about
Yeah, I
that.
just noticed this on the village low density, and it's got part of my property there that I'd like in that, all of my property in there, but anyway, just wondering what the plans were.
No, that's a great thing. It's an ongoing discussion. Every meeting we have, we're talking about that. In short, the general plan hasn't been implemented yet, so.
And you don't know any time frame that's going to happen?
No, because there's a Mountain Green area plan scheduled. That's actually in progress right now, and then there's area plan updates coming for all of the different areas. But if you can, we'd appreciate your input. If you can it'll just be the last, well, after we talk about these next 4 items, it'll be the next one we'll talk about.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. Anyone else?
Just real quick. So I'm Jackie Woody, I live right next to the subdivision going in, and I just want to have you put on the plat, just the right to farm, because we do farm our land right there, so there's no complaints about tractors or horses or whatever right next to them. So,
Got it.
thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a question regarding, I echo what Kelly said regarding that wet corner on the northeast corner there. But there's no indication of where the on the entrance, how you're going to exit off of Trappers. I suppose that comes in the future, but there's going to have to be a left-hand turn lane there, I assume, coming from the south to enter the neighborhood. Because just the topography, unless we can get Morgan County to pass some speed limit laws, which they don't currently enforce, but that, if you ever, and I live in that area, there's motorcycles that come over that hill that's down on the southeast corner, oftentimes 80 to 100 miles an hour. So that's going to be an issue unless there's a turn lane on the highway there.
Sorry, what was your name? Sorry.
Rich Koski,
Okay.
and I live in Trappers Point.
Thank you. We're doing a lot of writing. We listen to people. We try to answer these questions in discussion, so. Okay, anything else? Anybody else? No? Okay. So we're going to move out of public comment and on to item number 6 under discussion, the Oak Haven Estates subdivision.
You said Oak Haven?
Yes.
Right, okay. My name's Devin Bean. I am here on behalf of Susan Hanks. She's the property owner of Oak Haven. We would like to request an extension for another year if possible. The reason is due to the increased costs of materials and labor. We just need the extra time to secure the funds for that road. I think that's the last thing that subdivision needs before it's final.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. I don't think we need anything from staff on that, do we?
I did have a question.
Sorry, question for you.
Yeah.
Our code requires that you show for a good cause shown. Can you?
For a good cause?
What was the good cause shown do you have to want the extension?
Oh, just for the increased costs
Just increased costs?
of material and labor that's happened in the last couple of years since we started the planning of the project.
What?
So we'll just need to, I know. Where did this come from? So that was the reason. We just need extra time to secure the funds for that road.
Okay.
And our code only allows 6 months. You can get an extension later, but
Okay.
just,
Okay, perfect. 6 months would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Just trying to cross our T's and dot our I's. Any other questions?
Where's the Oak Haven? What's that one?
on Hardscrabble.
Yeah. That's the one that's kind of,
Do you know where Steve Allen is by chance? That's right by there.
we just needed a reason for the code requires us to document in the,
I just couldn't remember where it was at.
yeah.
There was not a lot of information on here.
Yeah, we'll wait. Yep. Does anyone want to make a motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I move we grant a 6-month extension to Oak Haven Estates subdivision for their final recordation of the plat.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 7, Whittier Estates.
Application number 22.034 is the Whittier Estates Phase 1 plat amendments. Two property owners within the subdivision are working with Peterson Pipeline. This is a land exchange. The properties are going to maintain the minimum lot standards for the 2 lots in Whittier Estates, and the Peterson Pipeline property will decrease by 0.02 acres.
Okay. Questions for staff? Discussion?
Just curious why, I mean, that's such a small number. Is it they're trying to do something, or what are we making the change for?
It's for Peterson Pipeline. They're changing the location of the property. So currently, there's a curvature to the lots. They're removing that.
Oh, okay.
There's more, yeah, to the story. Peterson Pipeline owns, as you can see on the plat,
Right.
a
Is the
30
applicant, is the
acre.
applicant here?
I don't know.
I-
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Do you want to speak to it at all?
Sure.
Thanks.
But I'll finish. They also had a lease, a 99-year lease on another parcel that the title company omitted off the plat. So when these lots were recorded, they didn't realize that Peterson Pipeline had a third of acre out into their lots. And so they've been working to clear that up to all parties' satisfaction.
Yeah,
Trying-
that's accurate. So this is, they entered into a settlement agreement to avoid litigation, and this is kind of just stems out of the settlement agreement. That's exactly the case. Do you have any other questions? Thank you.
Nope. The only thing to mention is that since this is a plat amendment, the recommendation is actually for recommendation to the county council for this order.
Are you ready?
Correct. I'm ready. Yep.
Mr. Chair, I move that we recommend approval to the County Commission for the Whittier Estates Phase 1 Plat Amendment, Application 22.034, located at 3800 West and 3900 North, 3901 and 3951 Thurston Drive, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated October 13th, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion. May I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Aye for me as well. I'm not used to saying it out loud because there's normally more than 4 of us here. Okay. On to item number 8, Rome.
Application number 22.037 is a concept plan for the Rome Retail and Office subdivision. This property is located on the north side of Old Highway Road, east of the Sinclair and the school. We have reviewed the application. The engineer has reviewed the application as well. It meets all the minimum requirements for a concept plan. When they submit for site plan review and subdivision review, we'll be looking at additional things such as landscaping, parking, lighting, and access. We're recommending approval for the concept plan.
Sorry, am I just trying to catch up? A lot of questions tonight, well, not specifically about this, but just in general terms for concepts, since the next one's concept as well. Trying to pull it up. Can you give us just a brief rundown on, so the public can understand the process, concept, and the steps that follow as well?
Right. Concept plan is typically only required for subdivisions. It is a first step where it's minimal design layout. Typically, it'll look at lots, street locations, widths. You're not really looking at grading or drainage at that point. It's probably 15% plan status, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of detail, so when they submit for preliminary plat, that's when they submit their grading, their drainage, their will serve letter for water, sewer.
Access.
Access is finalized during preliminary plat, and then during final plat, we verify all the street widths and curvatures and things like that.
Whether or not they would need a UDOT to approve an entrance onto Trappers or
Yeah,
any.
UDOT will look at Trappers Loop, since the state owns that road. They'll be the ones to grant access on Trappers Loop.
We're on Rome.
I know we are.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking in general terms
Okay,
for
okay.
concept plan now.
The difference with this is a commercial development, so there's the additional step of site plan review. The site plan review will go to planning commission and county for approval. It's administered as well, though, but we look at additional things that we wouldn't normally look at for subdivision approval.
Yeah, I guess my question on this one is the design standards. We spent a long time with design standards specifically for the town center zone, so that would be done at,
That would be done during site plan review.
okay.
So, the subdivision of the commercial project, that could go through concurrently, but the site plan review will have to cover all the design standards, they'll have to cover the access. I mean, right now, they're proposing 4 access points, including one on Old Highway Road. They'll have to show that they meet the minimum landscape standards, which is 15% of the entire site, 85% of which has to be plant material. They'll have to show that they meet the dark sky requirements of our code, which is 8-6-44. There's specific requirements in there that they'll have to show, including a photometric plan, so that we can determine that there's no light.
Right. Yeah, that was, so the first part of what my question was for the public's benefit, to understand that concept is really, really high level. Is this conceivable to move on, like you said, about 15% design? A lot of questions are not a requirement for us to answer at this phase.
That's correct.
We always try and talk about high-level stuff, especially when the room is full, because obviously people want to know stuff. So we try and answer some of these high-level questions. But really the question is this conceivable, since concept, right? And then a lot of detail and stuff comes out later. With this, the second part of my question was the design standards specifically for this, and because that won't be, this is going to be a little bit of a different than a normal.
Right, since
Yeah.
it's commercial,
Since it's
they'll
commercial.
submit their elevations and design to show that they meet the minimum design standards during site plan review. Because technically, those things are not required during subdivision 5.
Right. Is the applicant here? Yep. Sure, right there. Thank you. We've asked questions after the applicant. Hi.
Hi, Chase Freebairn, representing CW Lane, CW River.
So, do you guys have any questions right off the bat?
No, I think, if I remember right, I think the original plan called for us to do this earlier on, and I think we're coming back to finalize the, well, excuse me, no, this is for the commercial, so yeah, we're moving forward with the commercial retail right here at this stage, and just, making sure we have a concept that the county is comfortable with, and we have a couple users that are interested in that site, one that's under contract, which is a local prominent credit union, and so we have some parties that are interested in that site, and we'll be working closely with your staff on design standards.
Yeah, I know this is just concept, but one of the things, we had a meeting, I don't think I met you at the meeting, there was 2 architects there, and several of us on staff. One of the things, there was a little bit of a change from the original proposal, and we had some recommendations for things we'd like to see. Parking was one of them. There was a lot of parking. It seems like that's reduced quite a bit. So we'll have some discussion as we move forward as well, but that was just something that kind of, just a question. Like, it looked like there's significantly less than there was.
Yeah, and this is not each user may have a different footprint for a commercial building, and so the parking, could still vary. As long as we're still meeting the requirements, that's, we'll still meet code. And,
yeah.
But absolutely, we want to make sure that we have a design that's comfortable for you.
Do you have any idea that this has nothing to do with your application? I'm just curious about the front ones. Looks like there's 2 drive-throughs on that one. That's on each building. That's what we had originally talked about.
Yeah, the one user I know is like I said, is a credit union, so I'd imagine
Yeah.
it's for some type of drive-through, banking. I can't speak to the other user. I don't know if that's just conceptual or if that's user. I don't know at this point.
Just curious, it's been a while since we had that
Yeah.
planning meeting, so.
So you don't know if they will be office buildings or not? You don't know what type of
We
commercial?
don't exactly know the specific use. I mean, other than the one credit union, we don't know. I mean, we're still working on getting, with the market shifting, there's not as much angst to jump in and buy property as in the commercial world right now, and housing. But commercially, it's going to take a little more time to find the right user who's the right fit, who wants to be in that area. And that's something that's going to take some time to work through.
Yeah, and we'll continue to work them as we go through the next phases. We're just trying to make sure we get what we had planned for.
Right.
Not kind of, but exactly what we had planned for when we zoned this and wrote all this. Mostly connectivity between people parking to be able to walk to various functions and all that. I know I get it's market driven and all that, but
Yeah.
at least
Yeah, we wanted to be
to remind you what
user-friendly.
we were looking for, yeah.
We don't want to have people trapped in parking lots and not have enough parking or not have enough access, so we'll make sure those plans are good.
Okay. Questions for concept? No? Okay, well, if there's no other questions for staff or the applicant, if someone wants to make a motion.
I can read as good as anyone else can.
You can, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend conditional approval to the County Commission of the Brome Retail and Office Subdivision Concept Plan, application number 22.037 for a 5-lot subdivision of land located at approximately 4950 West Old Highway Road in unincorporated Morgan County, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report, dated October 13th, 2022.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 9.
Out of order.
Wish I could project for you. I could project from here.
That's all right. This is application number 22.047 for the Warner West concept plan for a subdivision that will include approximately 53 half-acre lots. It's located off the Trappers Loop on the west side of the road, south of the existing subdivisions, further north of the gas station. We've reviewed the concept plan. The engineers reviewed it. It meets all the minimum requirements for a concept plan. There are some issues with the street designs that will have to be addressed during preliminary plat. Also, they will need to address the required secondary access, which will need to be shown on and constructed during the improvement stage, which is either prior to final plat recordation or after recordation. Those are just some of the main issues that we've seen with concept plan, but they can be addressed during preliminary plat phase. So, staff is recommending approval of the concept plan.
So what's the next phase? So here's what happens. Concept plan gets advertised and people come out and not everybody knows each step. So I'm repeating myself mostly to remind myself exactly how this works. But concept is really high level. I'm looking at the chart again. There's very, very few things that they have the applicant has to provide to just say, hey, conceptually, is this okay? A lot of details. We had a lot of questions tonight. They're already on the record, but setbacks, trails.
The zoning of the
Those kinds of
property is
things.
R120, so they'll need to meet the setbacks as defined in our code for R120. We will look at that. Building envelopes typically are shown on the plat, and those building envelopes are designed with the setbacks in mind.
So I guess how I would answer the question for the people that spoke tonight is that there's a lot of details in here that get answered at the next step. We don't, our code doesn't require applicants to provide all this at this step because it's a lot of money to invest and answer questions early on before they even know if if it's even okay to go to the next step.
Part of
Is that
the
fair?
preliminary plat, yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. The preliminary plat stage, we also look at grading and drainage, which deals with the retention and
Right.
detention of stormwater, where it flows, how it enters the property, and where it exits the property. Typically, developments are required to maintain natural and historic flow rates. So where it enters the property, it needs to continue to enter the property. Where it exits the property, it needs to continue to exit. With the additional improvements, that's where the retention basins or detention basins come in. The detention basins will detain the water, slowing down the rate at which it leaves the property so that it can maintain that historic flow rate.
If they were to have access to Trappers Loop, they would need, all that would be later again, right? That would be all.
Access to Trappers Loop will probably be UDOT approved.
Right.
So they would have to go to the state to get the permits for that.
And then at that point, UDOT owns that road, so obviously at that point, UDOT would have to, if there's any questions about traffic studies or lanes and how UDOT has to work all that. And we work all that out at the next phase.
Yeah, we don't have any say over whether UDOT grants.
We don't. We typically have the discussion at the next phase, but if they don't get it, then that's between them and UDOT at that point, right?
Yeah, but if you don't want to approve it, then we can't approve it.
No. No, yeah, they would have to, so I guess what I'm trying to just remind everybody in the public is that the next stage, there's this kind of requirements, right? Most of the details that we asked tonight, all the evidence of that and those questions are asked if they come back with preliminary and say, okay, now we're ready to proceed.
Right, and you've already heard of one subdivision that is still waiting for UDOT to make a
Yeah.
determination on. So we can't move forward with that subdivision until UDOT makes that determination.
Right. Okay. Like I said, we try and go through this. If people do come out, which is actually kind of rare for us, when they do, we typically want to answer all of your questions and take the extra time to make sure you know that we're just not just listening to you and ignoring you. It's just that this is really, really high level, and the next, I encourage you to continue to come out, because if this goes to preliminary, then they'll come back and there'll be a lot of detailed questions on how we get into this.
And the wetlands will need to be delineated at preliminary.
Well, that's true. So if they are truly wetlands and not just wet land, they typically that's delineated on the final plat, and it'll affect
The layout.
building envelopes. But if it's just land that stays wet, then that can be mitigated through grading and draining, retention and detention.
We don't know, we're not the experts. What we do is we send that off and get all that information back and look at it. So hopefully that answers everybody's questions. The applicant? Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, again, Chase Freebairn representing CW Urban, and I appreciated the comments from the residents in Trappers Point, and I think it's always good, we don't live on the property, as a developer, and it's always helpful to have ideas from neighbors and from locals who drive those roads every day. But as you mentioned, Mr. Ross, this is very high level. We're looking at a 10,000-foot view of the property. We're not into the granular details of the property yet. We have performed a soils report, which we will submit with our engineering to the county, and the county engineer and our engineer will work through those details, and we'll make sure that the county engineer's standards and the code, that everything is met and adhered to. But yeah, there's a lot of great questions. I think a lot of that will be fleshed out in the next stage as we go to preliminary plat, and we have actual engineer drawings that show what the site will look like, the grade and drainage, and that can solve a lot of those water issues. But yeah, we're excited and excited to be part of the community and look forward to the project. So.
Okay, any questions for the applicant?
I don't have any.
No. All right, thanks very much. Okay, any discussion on this one? I know, again, I'm reminding myself, I know this is the concept. We typically get too far in the weeds with concept and have to back ourselves back out because well, I'll be honest, typically what happens is developers, they're invested, so they give a really detailed picture, site picture, but it's almost too detailed, so it's almost as if this is what we're approving, we're not approving that. We're approving the concept and the minimum requirements of concept. So even I get a little bit too far into the weeds. But a lot of great questions. I'm trying to think of the best way to carry these forward. I guess I'll just keep these and we'll take notes. It'll be on the record tonight, and then when we get to preliminary, we'll be able to remind ourselves of some of these questions. But I would also encourage the residents to come back and bring these questions back. Okay. If there's no further discussion on that, I guess we're ready for a motion on this one as well.
Mr. Chair, I move to recommend approval to the County Commission of the Warner West Subdivision Concept Plan, application number 22.047, for a 53-lot subdivision of land located at approximately 6651 Trappers Loop Road in unincorporated Morgan County, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated October 13th, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, on to item number 10.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Very civil. I think we're good.
Okay. Wasatch Peaks Ranch, as part of their Phase 2A, they received preliminary plat approval for that. They are requesting approval of a conditional use permit for the excavation of the streets. And it looks like a portion of the front of each of the lots. The engineer has reviewed those plans. He found no issues with them. He will inspect as they go along and make sure that the excavations are done correctly according to their construction plans. So we're recommending approval.
Just a general note for the Planning Commission. This one, this is the first time they've done excavation before. This one came to us. We're still debating kind of whether or not it needs to come to us. I signed the last excavation permit, but we're not sure. Josh is going to check into it for sure to make sure that it needs to come to us. It might, in the past, it's been staff level, but it doesn't hurt for us to make a motion on this. That's kind of where we're at, because they've done excavation before.
Yeah, I'll need to look into it. If their development agreement doesn't require them to come here for their excavation permits, then I think it's...
No, yeah, but it's better safe than sorry, and we've got it before
But
us.
what, I mean, I was confused on that one, because I would think that'd be part of the development, as long as they're staying within the things of the code.
We think so, we're not sure, so this is just kind of a better safe than sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, we've never had one before. This is the first in everything.
Correct.
So I'm glad you explained that. 'cause I was
Yeah.
confused.
So we'll just make a motion to get it, to clear it off the agenda. We advertised it, and we're not 100% certain that we don't need to see it, so Josh, he's going to look into that, and we may never see one again, but doesn't hurt to discuss it anyway. Doesn't hurt to have it before us, right?
That's true.
There's a lot going on. All right. So if there's no questions on this one, is there a recommended didn't see it, sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. Sample motion there?
Oh, no, I did not include a sample motion.
Okay.
It's just a memo.
No, there's one.
No, yeah, there is one, sorry.
You did.
Oh, I did. All right. So, oh, it's on the back.
Is that-
Hold on.
Sorry.
It's on page.
Did you?
Yeah, I think. Just a minute, I thought I read.
I don't think so.
Hey, the one there's Warner's.
Yeah, that's Warner's last one.
No, I'm looking,
No, there's one there.
What
Yeah.
page?
just.
30.
30, yeah, 30.
Thought I saw one too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought I saw one. Yeah.
All right, well, if someone wants to read that.
No, I'll read it.
Okay.
I move to approve the Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 2A excavation permit application number R 22.044, located at serial number 11-004-014 and parcel ID number 00-0001-1724 in the Wasatch Peaks Development in Peterson, Morgan County, Utah, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the memorandum dated October 13th, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 11. Okay. Probably could have just told her, you probably already know, but, so, apologize, I was I was at work actually, last meeting, I got stuck at work. Sounds like it was fun.
He wasn't here either.
Oh, you weren't? It's almost like it was fun. How'd it go?
I don't have any additional information. So I got sick right before I was to attend the update meeting.
No.
So I didn't get to attend it. I do know that they put out a survey.
They did, I got a copy.
I got a call from somebody who was pretty upset that he didn't get to fill out the survey because they took it down. And I'm like, well, they only kept it up for a certain amount of time. That's what they have to do so they can tabulate the
Yeah.
results.
But he's obviously more than welcome to come to the public hearing and comment at that point.
Yeah, he can, it's true. I have not had a chance to look at the results of that survey yet. I'll make sure I do that this week.
So Mountain Green Area Plan is done. Did you go or did you participate in the survey?
No, I got the card.
The area plan hasn't been written.
No, I mean just the survey
Survey.
part.
Oh, the
Yeah.
survey part, yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is the formation of an area plan has happened. That's the only thing that's happened is they've kind of started something, right?
They've done a market study, they've done an economic study or something like that. They were doing this survey. Last I heard, they'd spent about $60,000 of the $130,000 budget. They haven't started writing it.
What's this for?
This is for the Mountain Green and Peterson
Area plans.
area plan.
So where'd the money come from for that?
A grant.
Wasatch,
It's the Wasatch Peak.
Wasatch Front Regional Council.
Wasatch Front Regional Council.
Wasatch Front.
They got a grant for that area of the county.
Hopefully they have.
I would have did it for 110, but
Yeah, 110.
Seems like a lot of money.
Hopefully there's enough left over to write it.
oh, he's back now.
Have you seen the report that they said that they paid for?
I have not seen that yet.
No, we're done talking about it now. Sorry you missed it. No, I'm just teasing.
Two spots at once.
So, high level, you probably already know this, so forgive me, but high level, you know, we didn't pay, well, I guess as taxpayers we did, for the general plan update. We got the general plan update, none of us liked it. Josh came on board, he doesn't like it. So what we said basically was, hey, look, in its current state, none of us would vote to recommend it because there's too many things we didn't like. Very high level, and we didn't like the fact that the area plans weren't done first, and we were trying to approve a general plan before the area plans were updated. So then we went out, somebody did, Wasatch Front Regional Council gave a grant for a Mountain Green and Peterson combined area plan update. So it's
I think it was 120.
$120,000.
Something like that.
They've spent half of it. We don't know for sure. I'm very critical about what we're getting for that product, but.
That's who we met with during the summertime, that one lady that was in.
No.
Oh,
Nope.
That was the general plan. So it had very little to do with Mountain Green. It was very, very high level. So we said, look, we need area specific plans. So obviously Mountain Green, all the areas. So everybody's forming their own area plans to make sure that when we look at the whole general plan, that it includes the area plans as well. So nothing's happened. So
You don't know when it's gonna happen, I mean.
well, they started the Mountain Green area plan. Apparently, they've spent half the money, and the only thing that I know as a resident is I've got the survey. So
I didn't get a postcard, so I don't know why I didn't get a postcard.
I don't know. There should be. They haven't. I don't know how they did it. They didn't. They haven't written it yet. So obviously, they'll give us a product, and that we'll be able to look at. And I'm guessing it's going to be here. Honestly, this is what I think is going to work out. I think we're gonna get the general plan and the area plans, and all of us are going to have to get together, write it, form it into what we want, public hearing, get everybody approve it, and then we'll publish it.
We'll get some more public input.
Yeah.
And so can we change it before that
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed that right now, the map that was on this little thing here, it, includes this new subdivision with our sleigh riding hill, and then
Yeah.
gets my sister's house, and then it kind of goes like this way on just a little bit of my property, and I would like my property included, it's got a slice of my property in it, but it didn't have it all. It's
Gotcha.
weird.
Yeah. So that they're.
I think property owners should have a say in what their property is
Yeah.
designated.
Yeah, especially we're surrounded. I mean, we're surrounded by everything except just,
What- The group is called IBI, but the person in charge is Lance Tyrell, lives there in the Highlands.
Lance Correll.
Tyrell.
Tyrell.
He grew up here in Morgan.
I remember that.
His mom's a teacher.
Christy,
Yeah,
the teacher?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's Tyrell. And you said the company, sorry, was what?
IBI.
IBI.
But you can probably get a hold of Lance there. He lives in the Highlands. You can probably find his
Okay,
phone number and,
okay. I'll give him a call and just see what we need to do.
yeah. But I'm sure we'll have a lot of public input. I mean, that's,
I don't see anything being finalized anytime
And
soon.
just how long it's gonna take.
probably spring.
Yeah, because we got to get all the other areas.
Well, you figure how long the other took and where are we at?
Yeah.
Right.
Nowhere.
Yeah, they took a year and a half about,
Yeah, we want to get it right. We're more concerned with the area plans than the general plan is very. I get it's very high level, but it was kind of wordy and lofty, and it wasn't specific enough for each of the different areas. So we got to get all the area plans written.
There are other things that should be in there.
And there's missing things, and we paid a lot of money for it. Yeah. Anyway, we're not happy with the products that we're getting. So short answer, yes, there's gonna be plenty of input going forward. Just continue to stay plugged in, and
Okay, just when, huh?
it's just plan months,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably going to be spring.
probably spring.
In
Yeah,
the meantime, can we send our comments to Josh?
said everything you want to Josh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Call, email, FaceTime.
Thanks, you guys.
You bet. Thanks. All right, so that's it for. So what did I miss last time? Does anybody have an area plan team yet?
Yeah, Haley's done.
Well,
She hasn't written the draft. I mean,
she
she's
was
had her
gonna-
meetings.
Right, she was going to write her draft and then come in and sit down with me and go through it with me.
Okay,
But she had her meetings and
good.
Yeah, she had her meetings and, yeah, listened through it.
Good. What about enterprise or
they're still short people. They have
And
two.
Nobody ever showed up? Okay.
Porterville has, they
You
had
had
a
a lot.
lot.
We almost turned people away. Yeah, we
Oh,
almost
we
turned
had-
people away.
We had our first meeting last Tuesday,
Okay.
and they're gonna, my guess is they'll take at least 2 or 3 meetings to get it,
Sure.
so.
You shouldn't
and
be
they have
right.
another
You shouldn't
meeting.
feel rushed.
Well, I did, so I told them they had to hurry.
Oh.
No, that's,
It's not so big a deal.
well, that's good. Otherwise, you're gonna
Anyway.
have 10 meetings, right?
They have another meeting scheduled this next Tuesday, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay. How are you doing?
I gotta get mine, I've been gone all last
Okay.
month, so I,
Just curious. We got, obviously,
I was.
we're
out
not
of town
smoking
all
through
month.
this. All right. I was just curious to catch up. So.
No, I plan on trying to get mine together next week
Okay.
to get it started.
Yeah, I'm doing Mountain Green. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, that the 5-year update, we did a lot of work. That Mountain Green one was a pain.
Yeah.
We did a lot of meetings. Okay, any business staff questions for us?
None.
No?
I do have one question. So how come is planning commission held at 6:30 just to give people time to get off work and get here?
I-
Or is it related to how we used to have court 10s?
No, I think it just was, allow people time to make it to the meeting after work, I'm assuming.
Sometimes it's us.
It's been that way for decades.
Yeah, and we have this discussion
And that
every
way
time
since
we do
I've
our
been here.
plan. Every time
Yeah.
we do our schedule for the
It's
year.
been 6:30.
It's been, yeah, even back in the 90s when, yeah, it's been 6:30 for
Okay.
forever, and I
I'm
don't,
just trying to figure that out. This council's like right at 5 or 4.
I'm assuming it's,
Council used to be later and
Oh, they did.
they moved it up
Okay.
for staff.
All right. I was just asking a
I,
question.
I
I'm
understand
assuming.
why you're asking.
Yeah, we do.
Good question. Did you get me and Shane's input for the, no, I'm just kidding. Approval of the planning commission minutes? I know you went in and. went
I
through-
did, I talked to Bailey.
Oh, if you do have time after the meeting, there are some plats that
Yeah.
need signing.
Yeah, I'll come down.
I have a copy of the minutes that need to be signed.
Okay, can do both of those. Motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in
Sorry.
favor?
I guess I'll
Aye.
say aye. Wasn't here, but aye.
Oh, yeah, that's
Better.
okay. You can
You
still
gotta vote.
Yeah, we need to.
We're waiting for your motion.
Oh, so moved.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I'm out of sync.
Aye.
Wait a minute, aye.
You miss a
I
meeting?
opposed.
Are you opposed? Okay.
Motion passes.
I was caught up on the minutes thinking about that.
It might be close to a record, and there was a lot on the agenda as well. Do you want to keep these?
You want me to keep them?
Yeah, you better than me.
We don't need a motion to adjourn.
You don't
No,